Everybody
live.
All jury members ready?
Yes, all
Looks
good
like.
to go.
Okay, wonderful. Smita, call out and let's start. Let's roll.
Hi. We're starting with the category Best Integrated Campaign Consumer Products, Confectionery and Food. And the duration will be 10 minutes per presentation. And the first presentation is entry ID number 3604 by a Mindshare on Lays Smile Deke Dekho. Mindshare, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hope
Hi,
you all-
just a moment. We will let you. Yes, you can start the presentation. Your time starts now.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all had a great lunch. And here's something now to bring smile to all of your faces. Today, I'm here to take you through a Lace campaign that believed in spreading smile across with Smile Deke Dekho. Isn't this a common sight at all supermarkets or Kirana stores? Lay's has been an iconic brand with significant share in the Indian market. Though everyone was aware of Lay's, but as market was crowded with many Me Too brands, the biggest challenge for us was to stand out. The new packaging innovation of Lay's looked at multiple meanings and association of smiles and its diverse interpretations. This innovation helped us in disrupting the sameness across shelves. With Smile, we wanted to create a trendy new language for youth, which is not just audio, but a visual one as well. To bring this alive, we brought together two of India's biggest youth icons, Ranveer and Alia, for the first time on screen. The new packaging innovation of 6 Smile packs was positioned at core of all communications, and the concept was propagated across all scalable traditional and digital media platforms. As we know, due to evolving media landscape, there has been a shift from prime time to always on screen time. And due to increasing consumption of video streaming via OTTs and short video apps, we identified content consumption pattern across our target audience and created unique ideas for each day part and each media. Launch of the campaign was strategically timed with World Smile Day. Smile Deke Dekho manifesto was amplified with via multi-channel approach with an integrated campaign across platforms by bringing the proposition alive on TV, YouTube, and on social media platforms and across fixed and fluid moments. Let's have a look at an AV to cover campaign details.
Lay's, one of India's most preferred potato chip brands, with a high awareness tracking of 100%, preference scores 287 index to the category, has always had a steady, strong, and consistent relationship with the Indian consumer. Lay's holds the leadership position with nearly half the share of potato chip category, but the opportunity between share of mind and share of shelf is huge. As Lay's continued to be the most loved potato chip brand of India, it was time it drove the preference at shelf also equally by reminding consumers that every flavor and each pack brings smiles into our lives like no other chip or snacking brand can. This is the story of how Lay's touched the hearts of millions of Indians with just a smile, starting conversations like never before. With these smiles going on over 200 million Lay's packs, that's at least 400 million conversations. And we haven't even started talking online. We created a universal language of smiles, mapping each of our flavors to the smile that suited it the most. The generous flavor of masala became a joyful smile. The smooth flavor of cream and onion became a calm smile. The hot and tangy smile of tomato tango became a flirty smile, and so on. We then captured how different ethnicities from across India flash these smiles, creating an all-inclusive, multi-ethnic, 24 smile, zero-word vocabulary on hundreds of millions of packs. That got all of India talking like it never had before. We launched the campaign with a musical tutorial starring Bollywood heartthrobs Alia Bhatt and Ranbir Kapoor, that showed India exactly how to use these smiles. Next, we went live on TV, casting them as strangers, acquaintances, and lovers with a series of short films, weaving short, charming stories around these smiles. Super targeted videos went live across social media, telling viewers exactly what they wanted to say in smiles. We created a range of specially customized smile packs for Instagram's favorite influencers and got them to start the conversation with millions of their followers. The love was always there for the brand, but the smiles brought the joy back.
And wasn't this interesting? But this was not all, because we had a perfect opportunity to lighten up the mood in Bigg Boss by bringing variety of smiles to the contestants. Even Bigg Boss House smiled this year. Let's have a look at some key integrations.
देवलीना, आप इतनी टेंस क्यों हो? रिलैक्स हो जाओ, स्माइल करो।
मेरे ऊपर गिराएंगे अभी।
स्माइल देके देखो। रेडी? आपका पहला सवाल ये है, अगर शुक्ला गुरु है, तो उसका चेला कौन है?
We had a rack placed in garden area with smile positioning. At various times, contestants were seen enjoying a packet of Lays. The smile mirror was a constant reminder to the contestants that a small smile can brighten up everyone's day. Written by India's leading composer Amit Trivedi and sung by Sunidhi Chauhan, the Lays anthem got the internet buzzing with 120 million views and reached more than 60 million people across YouTube. With large number of people shaking a leg on TikTok Do It and Hook Step Challenge, it brought live the Smile Deke Dekho jingle in true sense. We got Instagram smiling with the largest influencer campaign, reaching 1,400 influencers with customized packs. Closed loop study along with Google on YouTube bumpers resulted in 8% uplift in ad recall. And the campaign success was also proven by business growth of 18%. We were thus successful in driving preference and consideration for the brand and thus making Smile Deke Dekho as a youth lexicon. And therefore we got India's got smiling with Lays. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Jury members, please score this entry and please let us know once we are good to go for the next presentation.
In the meantime, Smita can be ready with the next case study presentation. I mean, just the presenter can share the screen, the first shot.
Okay, moving on to the next presentation, entry ID number 3615 by Lotka UM on Amul, how Amul strengthened its position despite a pandemic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me know when I should begin.
Sure. We will let you know. Jury members, are we good to go for the presentation?
I'm okay.
Just
Yeah,
a
I'm okay
moment.
too.
I've just submitted. I'm just waiting for the screen to refresh.
Okay.
Just give me a second. Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay. You can start the presentation. Your time starts now. All the best.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Veer Bhogya Vasundhara, meaning the brave shall inherit the earth. Amul faced unique set of challenges as we moved into the pandemic. One, the large portfolio that Amul has covering 68 brands, all of them are perishable, and they support livelihoods of 3.6 million farmers who bring milk into Amul daily. Second, the Horeca business was deeply affected. Horeca being hotels, restaurants, and catering business. Now, sales from this segment coming into Amul had come down to zero. And thirdly, the COVID-19 scare had made consumers apprehensive, and they were afraid to touch everything, including milk. Given the large number of farmers whose livelihood depended on Amul decided not to wait and watch. They would be agile and take brave decisions. Firstly, it was imperative that there be no decline in sales. Second, there was, given the softness in the market and the shifting paradigm, it was time to explore new opportunities in media. And finally, it was just as important to reinforce trust among our consumers and promise them availability of essentials. Quickly getting our act together, we studied behavioral changes and impact during previous downturns, referencing over 75 articles and taking these learnings and mapping them to their current consumers' mindset, moods, changes in habits across media, viewing, buying, eating. So with all of this rigorous analysis, we picked up 4 powerful insights that became the bedrock of our strategy. First, companies that invest in downturn gain equity and bounce back faster. During tough times, consumers re-examine the norms and tend to change behavior. There are shifts in patterns. Now let's see how we can get more consumers to convert using this insight. Finally, during the lockdown, we all felt the pinch of household helps not being there around us. And therefore, the need for do-it-yourself and convenience videos became rising. People being holed up at home, nostalgia, it became a time for nostalgia, family bonding, even religious sentiment gained prominence. So with these learnings, we adopted the mantra, pivot and transform. We moved ahead to take a series of brave decisions, first of which was that we would not stop media investments due to COVID, but we would increase visibility substantially. Now, traditionally, Amul has never really been in the SOV game, as our A to S ratio has always been below 1%. But with our pivot and transform strategy, we catapulted Amul to become one among the top 10 advertisers, leveraging performing genres like news, movies, boosting digital presence, and getting into e-papers. We substantially increased Amul's SOV at a time when most advertisers were reducing media investments. Leveraging the market softness, we delivered unprecedented media value. Our second brave decision was to proactively reassure and provide safety guarantees to our consumers that would restore trust. And we did all of this in really very, very turbulent times. Now, one must note that in the turbulent situation, most brands and companies were not willing to take a stance. But we thought very differently. We leveraged credible media, got in our most trusted warrior, Mr. R.S. Sodhi, to assure our consumers that supply of essentials and milk will not get disrupted. And at the same time, conveyed to our consumers that all our factories operated under the guidelines of COVID safety norms and our products were safe to consume. The third brave decision was to bring alive trust by showcasing legacy and demonstrating partnership. it would be opportunistic during COVID to take advantage of the pandemic and show some CSR with a social message. But we thought differently. We showcased our 30 years of infallible daily partnership via 190 Amul Classic ads, building on the legacy and trust. Now, we knew religious sentiment was at an all-time high, and we predicted that religious content would also be avidly viewed. The opportunity that came up at this time was on DD, and skeptics were, questioned why DD and what would happen to the ratings. And finally, it was old content who would really watch it. But we stood by our conviction. We convinced the Doordarshan that Amul would sponsor the 2 epic serials, and we were richly rewarded for that. All of this we achieved at 1/200th at the cost of IPL, delivering unheard of 11.3 TVRs and 5.5 TVRs, reaching 287 million viewers. Now, we all know that that is higher than the top 4 programs that are running currently. Further riding on the religious sentiment, Amul launched Panchamrit during lockdown. Now, our objective here was to further elevate the stature of this product, to take it to a space of reverence. And hence, to do this, we associated with the Ayodhya Bhumi Pujan and offered Panchamrit to Lord Ram and our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. Talking of results, over 1 lakh seconds of unadulterated brand visibility, and we had Namo himself as our brand ambassador. Now, could we be asking for anything more as a brand? But things were not hunky-dory in other sectors. Restaurants were closed, Horeca business was down, chefs were missing out prominence and limelight. We lifted their spirits. Now, instead of doing a couple of managed episodes with played influencers, we reimagined our format. We conceptualized a non-stop live recipe show. We did that on Facebook Live, and we have 3,300 chefs from prominent chains, as well as Michelin star chefs participating. This program went on for more than 500 days. Cinema halls were shut. There was nothing happening outdoors, and we decided to reimagine our OTT strategy. Moving away from a typical theaters, movie channel, sports plan, we started placing our products strategically in much sought after OTT films like Saina, Tufan and Rashmi Rocket, gaining visibility for our products. We redefined what a full page ad could be on print. We converted that to vertical column ads of, they are strip ads that can accommodate 650 Amul SKUs in a single edition. We extended our topicals from OH to digital and print, giving consumers an opportunity to interact with our brands. Let's take a quick look at an AV about Pivot and Transform. Our efforts were designed to deliver at scale. Amul grew double-digit despite COVID. Panchamrit grew by 10%. So did consumer packs, more than covering up for the deficit we faced due to
Last
the
1 minute.
deficit in Horeca sales. In fact, we could help Horeca with giving them 500 plus days of engagement and having over 3,000 chefs, created nostalgia, pride, legacy, and set Twitter ablaze for 3 months plus. Multifold paid on earned media, 3 times higher efficiency via media leverage, and there's more. Searches for Amul rose 10x. Amul ranked among the top 10 advertisers. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jury members, please do let us know once after you score.
Okay, moving on to third presentation, entry ID.
Smita, your voice is breaking.
Hello, it's okay?
Yes.
Yeah. The third presentation, entry ID number 3613 by Waymaker for Cadbury Chocobits, the case of missing Cadbury.
Jury members, are we good to go for this presentation, or should we wait for 1 or 2 minutes more?
I need a minute.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Can I start?
Yes, your time starts now.
Sure.
All the best.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dhara Shah from Wavemaker, and I'm going to take you through the case of missing Cadbury. 2020 was the year of extreme anomaly as a pandemic had hit our lives. The lockdown played havoc, and normalcy as we knew it had completely changed how people were behaving towards brands and advertising. Now, this led to a massive dip in sales for brands and had an immediate impact at advertising and media spends saw a drastic cut. The lockdown also saw a shift in media consumption habits. With increased time at home, people were also spending a lot more time on digital media, especially the social media platforms. In such dynamic circumstances, advertisers were now skewing their messaging more towards the online media and thus creating high messaging clutter across these platforms. The challenge for Mondelez as a brand was tougher since our category was traditionally perceived as luxury or discretionary, and hence we were competing for mind space amidst brands that were pushing messaging related to wealth, health, and well-being. In such a daunting landscape, Mondelez had decided to launch a new product line and foray into a new category. With its 70 years of legacy on the flagship brand of Cadbury, they had to reinvent the way they marketed this product so that they could break the clutter immediately. A pandemic consumer trend study showed a sharp rise in in-home snacking, where 88% of Indians admitted to snacking more, and snacks were being preferred over meals. Cadbury was launching a product which catered perfectly to this set of audience. With the ongoing challenges of pandemic, digital media clutter, and the category being discretionary and not an essential, the task at hand was to create an impactful launch. To achieve this, we had to come up with a strategy that would have had a high dose of inventiveness and disruption to pique the curiosity of the audience. Our insight was based on the fact that it's a human tendency to be receptive to things when they're caught by surprise. We therefore backed this insight with the 3S framework of shock, suspense, and show. And this is how the campaign idea of Kaha Gai Cadbury, also known as the case of missing Cadbury, was born. Now, for most Indians, chocolate equals Cadbury. The word Cadbury itself evokes a sense of nostalgia and fond memories. Now, imagine what would happen if overnight everyone's most loved Cadbury suddenly disappear. Keeping in line with this wildly unexpected step, Cadbury went missing from packaging of its most iconic assets. It went missing from the social media pages, hoardings, and event direction boards. We created suspense and took the internet by storm, as this was a disruption that nobody would have ever imagined, a world without Cadbury. Now, with the Cadbury logo going missing across assets, sufficient mystery had been made. Now, people had asked, Kahan gayi Cadbury? Finally, the time to reveal Kahan gayi Cadbury had come.
It's not every day that an iconic brand makes its logo disappear. Cadbury Choco Bakes wanted to launch a new product, a cake with Cadbury hidden in it. So we decided to create buzz around the launch by hiding the most iconic thing, Cadbury. Cadbury mysteriously went missing from social media. Billboards and direction signs. Celebrities wondered too.
कैडबरी गायब है नहीं मतलब कहाँ गई कैडबरी
कहाँ गई Cadbury?
कहाँ गायब हो गई मेरी कैडबरी
It even went missing from the collection of Asia Book of Record holder for most chocolate wrappers. 50 million people wanted to know, कहाँ गई Cadbury? That's when Choco Bakes revealed where Cadbury was, at the Sweet Secret party.
3,
2,
1.
Then we launched cakes with the TVC that made its way into people's hearts.
तू ना बिल्कुल ये केक जैसा है, छुपा रुस्तम। सबके सामने मुझे देखता भी नहीं है और अकेले में नॉटी बॉय।
Cadbury Choco Bakes cakes. दिखता है केक है Cadbury. The campaign became the talk of the town. In just 5 days, Cadbury in a cake became the only thing people loved more than Cadbury.
A campaign garnered 400 million impressions, 85 million reach, and 143,000 engagements in just 20 days. The media and the press also took notice of this campaign. Kaha Gayi Cadbury was featured in the most watched and clutter-breaking work for 2020 on Campaign India. Immediate salience at 83 versus FMCG target of 58. The product trial increased 2 times, and hence the surge was seen in the internal revenue figures of the brand, where the target was exceeded by a whopping 133%. Now you would ask, what made this campaign unique? Cadbury launched a product by dropping its most identifiable asset to launch a brand. All this while bringing smiles to people when they needed it the most. Thank you.
Thank you. Jury members, please score for this entry and let us know when you're ready to go for the next presentation.
Okay. Moving on to the fourth presentation. Entry ID 3606. Waymaker for Center Fruit, the boardroom, Slela.
Please let me know when my time starts.
Sure.
All the best.
Smita, I'm good now.
Okay. Is everyone?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you can start the presentation. Your time starts now. All the best.
I am Shivam Priya from Waymaker, and I'll be presenting on Center Fruit, the boredom slayer entry under the best integrated campaign, consumer products, confectionery, and food. Good afternoon, jury members. You've been seeing back-to-back presentations, and we are here to uplift your mood. Feeling of boredom or monotony is very easy to come by. And you're not alone to get it. Believe us when we say this. As per Google, there were over 2 million searches on the keyword I am bored. And amongst all audiences, teenagers get bored the most easily. Teenagers are the primary consumers of our brand Center Fruit, and they have the least attention spans. Brands struggle to attract their attention. Our client Perfetti, along with BCG, did a demand space study a few years back and came up with a clear demand space of cheer me up for Center Fruit. With a brand objective of uplifting consumers' mood, the new proposition of Mood Ting Tong was launched. This was based on the insight of killing boredom during dull moments, which were mostly in-home moments. Just running Mood Ting Tong awareness campaigns on television was not helping, as brand was also carrying a baggage of its own iconic communication, Kaisi Jeev Lap Lapai. Hence, we had a clear media task at hand to establish the new proposition of Mood Ting Tong for Center Fruit by boosting the imagery scores on Cheer Me Up. We realized that establishing new brand proposition is not a linear or a one-time effort. Hence, we created an integrated media strategy by building in various interventions through the year. Those were focused on uplifting our audience's mood when they are in home. We executed them using a hero, hub, and hygiene model. Before working out the different media interventions, we identified the right mediums and the relevant genres that work for tweens and teens audiences. While we know that TV and online video has the highest reach, social came out very strongly as a touch point where our audience spend a lot of time. In terms of genres, backed by media consumption data of Yumi and ComScore, we identified 3 genres which were high in reach as well as affinity. These were comedy, sports, and music. We named the fun genres and focused all our interventions on them. The AV now shows how we brought our strategy to life.
We set the big the baseline saliency by running always-on brand campaigns as hygiene. Here, we had a clear strategy of uplifting audiences' mood, and therefore we divided our campaigns into reach GRPs and fun GRPs and ensured that at least 60% of the GRPs are driven by the fun genres. For our hub-level mid-impact interventions, we picked music out of the fun genres. Music, as we all know, is a great mood uplifter. As per a Spotify report, listening to audio acts as a stress buster. We collaborated with largest music channel T-Series, which has 200 million subscribers, and got Guru Randhava, an artist whom our audience strongly resonated with, to create a music video that drove the brand promise. It became a huge success and the video clocked 149 million views. For our second hub intervention, we chose radio, as it lends great power to drive consumer engagement. Since Thursday is the dullest day of the week, we created a property called Mood Ting Tong Thursday on India's largest radio station, Radio Mirchi. A 6-week-long activity with 6 RJs in 12 cities had contests running where people were supposed to answer the questions as to how they make their mood ting-tong when boredom strikes. Gratification with center fruit hampers were awarded to the most liked responses. Finally, we did 2 hero interventions, and for those, we chose sports and comedy under the fun genres. Let's talk about sports first. We all know the biggest platform in Indian sports is IPL. We decided to create a social media engagement program with IPL at the center of it. We tied up with one of the most popular and the most followed teams on social media, the RCB. RCB has 10 million followers and they engage with their fan base on digital platform through RCB Insider with Mr. Nags.
Peace. Hi guys, myself Mr. Nags.
Mr. Nags is played by popular comic artist Danish Seth. And we made Mr. Nags the official humor captain for Team RCB and their fans. We created more than 65 humor-infused videos with him that made the team and the fans laugh along. His iconic one-liners and improv comedy enabled us to keep the brand essence alive while he gate-crashed almost every team event.
तुमको टीम रूम में बुला के मैं प्रैंक किया, अभी उधर रखा हुआ सेंटर फ्रूट के साथ तुम्हारा मूड टिंग टांग करो.
We continuously engaged our audience through multiple micro-contests on match days. All of the above had brand Center Fruit integrated seamlessly in it, bringing alive the mood ting-tong proposition.
Nags, your magic work. Thank you.
The second hero intervention was in the comedy space. TV being the highest reach platform and Sub TV being most loved comedy channel by our TG was selected. We picked the top-rated show at that time, Tera Kya Hoga Alia, and integrated Center Fruit's mood ting-tong proposition very smartly in the storyline. We branded the tea stall, which became the humor epicenter. The integration was well placed and helped us in getting reach as well as building brand saliency in an ad-free environment.
Ta-da! सेंटर फ्रूट सॉफ्ट च्यू कैंडी खा और इसकी मजेदार फ्रूटी टेस्ट से अपना मूड टिंग टोंग कर.
This is how we strategized and executed our integrated media campaign using the hero, hub and hygiene model. And it yielded some great business and brand results. We succeeded in achieving the brand objective. The imagery scores on Cheer Me Up went up to a whopping 62%. We gained 1 million plus reach and 2.25 lakh engagement. And brand's Facebook followers increased by 6 times, making Center Fruit the brand with the highest social media following within the Perfetti portfolio. To clients' delight, all our efforts changed a 5-year-old trend of stagnant growth and resulted in 16% increase in sales. But above all numbers, the true success comes when the client appreciates the efforts himself.
Mood upliftment is the key component of Center Fruit's brand philosophy of Mood Ting Tong, and our audience has a strong affinity towards comedy, sports and music. Here, did a fantastic job over the years of identifying key moments under these genres on each medium and activating the brand proposition in those seamlessly. Their strong understanding of the audience, strategic and efficient collaboration, and flawless execution really helped us in the brand's journey of establishing Mood Ting Tong.
Thanks, sir, for your kind words and uplifting our mood. Respected jury, let us also tell you why we think that our integrated media strategy is unique. First, we identified select fun genres and concentrated all our efforts towards them. Second, teenagers are very different and they value engagement more than advertising. We actively engage with our audiences through each and every interventions we did. Third, for IPL, we tapped the huge interactivity and engagement on social that scores much higher in our TG than the TV viewership. Fourth, continuous interventions through the year work much better than one big campaign for establishing new proposition. And finally, our smart IPL association gave us access to the otherwise super expensive IPL players and helped us achieve 4 times the value of monies we invested. So jury, I sincerely hope that this 10-minute presentation of mine has helped uplift your otherwise dull mood. In case there is some scope left, then please have a center fruit because that can surely make your mood ting-tong.
Thank you. Jury members, please score this entry and let us know once we are good to go for the next presentation.
Okay, moving on to the fifth presentation by Mindshare on Boost Stamina Meter, a new currency in town. Entry ID is 3620.
Can we start?
We'll let you know just a moment.
Thank you.
Jury members, are we good to go for the presentation?
I'm good to go.
Thank you. Yeah, we can go.
I'm good as well.
Okay. Yes, Meherzad, you can start the presentation. Your time starts now, and all the best.
Sorry, I'm just going to share a check on sharing the sound now. I'm just going to recheck it.
All right, no problem.
Sorry. Can you let me know if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your time starts now.
Good afternoon, Sharks. My name is Mehzad.
And I'm Farah, and we are the founders of Stamina Meter.
So, Sharks, in the last couple of years, our generation has seen an evolution in fitness culture. Thanks to tech, we can track live body movements, posture, heartbeat, sleeping patterns, nutrition, and all of this information gets collated in a single app or wearable. Now, the inception of this technology for fitness comes from the world of sports. One of the key brands associated with sports, fitness, and especially cricket in India is Boost. Now I know what you all are thinking. You all are thinking of the line?
Boost is the secret of my energy.
Correct. The mainline communication has been etched in our minds since the 90s with brand ambassadors like Kapil, Sachin, MS Dhoni, and Virat Kohli.
Now, Boost is a very strong player when it comes to the south of the country, and it enjoys almost 50% penetration. In 2020, the brand decided to launch Pan-India. But the challenge that the brand was facing was stamina manifests itself best during outdoor sports and physical activity. In 2020, with the multiple lockdowns, kids were forced to stay at home. This reduced the significance of stamina amongst brands' key audience. To sum it up, Sharks, stamina required a boost for the brand's growth.
Now, as I already mentioned, we, the 90s kids, might remember this line subconsciously, Boost is the secret of my energy. But for today's generation, that has all the information and data points around sports, like vertical leap jump, duration of a match, distance covered in kilometer, wants to know more, wants to know what is the secret of their energy. And the answer for this, let me tell you, lies on the bottle itself for the last 30 years. And that is the key proposition of Boost, 3x stamina. Sporting personalities are at the top of the mind when we think of stamina. It blows our mind when we see these personalities perform at best. And while there are multiple performance ratings across the ecosystem globally, no sport, no broadcaster, no brand quantifies the most crucial thing in the world of sports, stamina. So, Sharks, we leveraged this opportunity to introduce a new tech-based product using artificial intelligence and machine learning to create a new metric, a new sporting metric rather, in the world of sports, the Boost Stamina Meter.
Boost Stamina Meter is a never done before rating system. It ranks players on the basis of their stamina displayed on field in real time. Sharks, we use cricket as a starting point to develop a data model that analyzes 30 plus stamina parameters such as running between the wickets, time spent on crease, diving catches, and more. We understand stamina is complex. So to stay on the top of the salience game, we decoded stamina in a visual form. After 6 months of lockdown and no sporting events, IPL came as a ray of hope and Boost used this opportunity. Across the course of the tournament, we identified and engaged with fans across high-octane moments of the game. We used an integrated approach and roped in Disney Plus Hotstar and CricBuzz to ensure that we were present across all touch points where IPL was either being relayed or discussed. In the pre-match shows, we created special segments that spoke about the top players on the stamina meter leaderboard. We roped in 30 plus expert cricketing journalists, commentators, and veterans like Harsha Bhogle, Virender Sehwag, Ajay Jadeja, and many more to do an in-depth understanding of the highs and lows on the stamina meter leaderboard. Sharks, we also tagged key moments during live matches with real-time unique stamina score of the players. We created and circulated 500 plus creatives across social media and cricketing platforms to become a part of the IPL conversations and fan banter. Not just that, we associated with the best players in the game to re-emphasize the importance of stamina in the performance of a player. Sharks, all our efforts ensured that Boost Stamina Meter had become an important part of all IPL conversations, wherein fans began interacting and referring to the leaderboard on the Boost microsite and on CricBuzz also. Let us now show you an AV of the journey.
Introducing the Boost Stamina Meter, an algorithm with 30 plus data points. Time spent on crease, bowler run-up, pace of delivery, diving catches, and more. Players were segmented as per batsman, bowler, or all-rounder. This was run through statistical analysis like linear regression, and based on their live performance, every player was assigned with a unique stamina score. The Boost Stamina Meter made its first appearance at the Indian Premier League. We opened the innings with solid partnerships. Stamina scores of 184 players were displayed in real time.
जसप्रीत बुमराह 80 पॉइंट्स के साथ बूस्ट स्टैमिना मीटर में अपने टीम में टॉप पर हैं.
Leading commentators and experts reiterated the impact of stamina on a game.
We have the Boost Stamina Meter.
We back it throughout the 120 balls, and then he's come out and he's been on the field for the next 17 overs as well.
Boost Stamina Meter में से पॉइंट देने पड़ते तो आप उनको कितने पॉइंट देते? 100 में से 100.
Fans were hooked on to insights behind competitive stamina scores. Key moments during the game were leveraged through 500 plus contextual creatives. Boost Stamina Meter built a one-stop destination for all things stamina. The campaign garnered 35 million visual views, a whopping 4 billion impressions with 95% positive sentiments on social media. Market share increased by 900 basis points. Aided awareness increased by 1,000 basis points. It generated 4 times the value of a typical IPL campaign. Not just that, Boost Stamina Meter created an answer to a very important question in the world of sports. What's your stamina score?
Yes. To answer this question, what's your stamina score? The algorithm analyzed historical data set of last 12 years of all IPLs, 150,000 data points during a live match. And soon the stamina score of players was deployed in real time across platforms.
So in short, what we did was we took the brand promise of stamina, added tons of good data, and created an enduring brand asset, the Boost Stamina Meter, which became deployed across platforms. This product broke through the limitations of low engagement, low impact faced with mainline TVCs. The Boost Stamina Meter campaign was ranked amongst the top 3 most recalled campaigns on Hotstar.
But Sharks, here comes the plot twist. Neither were we a sponsor of IPL, neither were we a sponsor of any IPL team. This idea is disruptive because when we want to invest in IPL, you got to break that bank of yours, right? But with an investment of just 5 crores, we generated a 4x value for the brand without being a sponsor. In fact, we received second round of funding in 2021 for the second season of IPL with double investment to make it much bigger and take it on TV. And the future of this tech is now to take it across sporting leagues, gaming, and wearables.
Investors across the globe in India have recognized and appreciated Boost Stamina Meter. In fact, one of the investor brands offered to buy out the IP because they believe Stamina Meter could give their energy brand wings.
So Sharks, we are here looking for an investment of a gold in this category to take the stamina score equity of this campaign to 100. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mahazad and Farah. Jury members, please let us know once you score this entry so that we can go for the next presentation. Smita, can you please call out the next presenter?
Yeah. The sixth presentation by Mindshare on lace. ये hard work कहलाता है. Entry ID 3603.
Please be ready, Nitin. We will let you know when to start the presentation.
Yep.
Good. I have scored.
Thank you. Hope everyone is done, right?
Yep.
You
Okay.
can go ahead.
Okay. You can start the presentation and your time starts now. All the best.
Thank you. On 24th March 2020, India announced the most stringent nationwide lockdown. Good afternoon, everyone. I will be taking you through a campaign which is very special to us, Lay's Hard Work. As most of us witnessed, the pandemic brought a complete shift in the usual life and work routines. People were afraid to step out of their homes due to anxiety and fear of the risk involved. In these difficult times, the entire nation of 1.3 billion people who were stressed about everyday supplies were while being scared about the health of the near and dear ones. Lay's, India's favorite potato chip and iconic youth brand, has been known for its optimism and positivity. It has been associated with building and celebrating connections to fill the world with joy for everyone. But how do you spread joy in the middle of such a difficult situation? While we all appreciated the frontline workers for the contribution to fighting the pandemic, we often forgot to appreciate the supply chain workers who made sure that we never ran out of our favorite products and food items. Despite the pandemic, people who were going about their daily jobs, the entire supply and distribution chains of daily necessities, definitely deserved special praise. They didn't stop working even after being fully aware of the risk they were taking. They couldn't stop because the nation needed to survive. Through this campaign, Lay's decided to pay gratitude and appreciate all the people who were part of the value chain, starting from the farmers to factory workers, truck drivers, distributors, sales force, retailers, and delivery executives, who were ensuring that people like us stayed safely within the confines of our homes and received their favorite items. They were nothing less than heroes, and their hard work was truly hard work. The gratitude to these hard workers itself was the key element in this campaign. And an entire multimedia strategy was built around amplifying the same. We took hard work to millions of screens across the country through the Ye Hard Work Kehlata Hai TVC. Leading singers and artists, including Alia Bhatt, Neha Kakkar, Hina Khan, Shehnaz Gill, amongst others, shared their rendition of this song. We were joined in this initiative by multiple other brands like Cadbury, Zomato, Domino's, to name a few, thus building a strong network of hard work. This chain of conversations between Lay's and these brands helped create buzz across social media. Lay's partnered with Smile Foundation for the Artwork for Hard Work cause, wherein original art pieces of various artists, including painters, photographers, and actors, were auctioned. The proceeds from this were used for distributing safety kits to hard workers. Hard work packs featuring various hard workers on front of the Lace pack became a celebration of hard work across Instagram. People showed their love by sharing the hard work symbol across their social media handles. Here is the AV to tell you more about the integrated campaign.
On the evening of 24th March 2020, with less than a 6-hour notice, India declared the world's most brutal lockdown. In the absence of an infrastructure to sustain the supply of necessary goods and services, 1.3 billion people would have been left to fend for themselves if millions of unseen heroes hadn't stepped up. The farmers, the factory workers, the truck drivers, the shopkeepers, the delivery boys, and everyone who kept doing the ordinary things they did even in these extraordinary times. The hard work they did to make sure nothing got in the way of the happiness of our hearts, we called Heart Work. We celebrated everyone doing this hard work, not just for Lay's, but for every brand in India. A song celebrating this hard work went live on millions of TV screens across India.
ऐसे मौसम में भी जब कोई डट के फसल उगाता है, हाथ वर्क कहलाता है। ऐसे पलों में जब कोई अपना हर पल लगाता है, हाथ वर्क कहलाता है। ऐसी घड़ी में भी कोई जब दिल से सब कुछ कर जाता है।
अंकल, एक लेस देना।
Limited edition digital-only packs dedicated to our hard workers became murals on Instagram, with India's biggest influencers starting and participating in a celebration of these heroes. For the first time ever, a Lay's pack wore a brand other than its own, as Lay's created and tweeted a range of digital-only packs for India's biggest national and international brands, celebrating the hard work their people had done, not just for the brand, but for all of us. The brands tweeted right back, helping hard work trend its way into social media, LinkedIn, and most importantly, India's corporate offices and boardrooms. Getting those who mattered the most to these hard workers, their employers, to celebrate them with their hearts. Hard work so moved the nation that it became a national movement. Funds were raised for distributing safety kits for those doing the hard work across India. As hard work didn't just find a place for itself in our common vocabulary, but made a place for itself in all our hearts.
This campaign was special as we were able to measure results both in terms of performance indicators for the brand and contribution we could make to the society during this time. Through this campaign, we reached out to 745 million people. More than 40 plus leading brands joined us in creating the hard work chain. Lay's also witnessed 50% volume growth during campaign period. Through a partnership with Smile Foundation, we were able to contribute 1 lakh safety kits to heart workers. We hope our Heart Work initiative touched your heart as well. Thank you, judges.
Smita, can you call out for the next presenter?
Sure. Next, the seventh presentation, entry ID 3609 by Performance India, ITC eStore, ITC eStore aiming for D2C dominance.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. We will let you know, please wait. When to start we'll let you know when to start. Jury members, are we good to go for the presentation?
Good for me.
Good. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Siddharth, you can start the presentation. If you're sharing a screen, please make sure that you share it with the computer audio.
Yeah.
And your time starts now. All the best.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. So our entry is about, it's for ITC Store, which is an e-store started by ITC back in 2020. And it's about aiming for D2C dominance. So just to give you some background, ITC started with their own DTC platform where they're selling all the products that they offer under the ITC brand in 2020. But what happened was there was a certain stagnancy that started coming in towards 2021, and because the brand had only launched in a few metro markets, it was becoming difficult to spread the awareness, and there was a lot of competition. So that's when we launched this campaign, which was around the time of we started with the Holi campaign, and then it flew into the second wave of the pandemic, which was the Delta pandemic around April 2021. And I'll just talk a little bit more about that. So the objectives of the campaign was basically to drive awareness, driving order value, volume, and revenue, which is basically to drive business, and also lifetime value of the customer. So as we all know, DTC, a very important space where we need to not only retain and get people to purchase immediately, but also get their attention, and that's when you can only drive real value from DTC. So these are the main objectives of the campaign. And then I'll talk about how we went about this campaign and the case study. So we are all aware of the who, where, what, right? But we also added a thing called website experience. So these were the 4 pillars of our campaign, which was the who, where, what, and the website experience. And website experience especially important because it's a DTC platform. So this is all about putting the consumer first and having a consumer first approach, and to ensure that from the time they see the impression of our ad to the time they complete a purchase, the entire buying journey is a smooth one. And it's all flowing relevantly for specific audiences or specific audience segments and cohorts. So coming to that, so talking about the who is basically you're targeting your TG. So what is going to be the audience, and on what media are we going to deploy this strategy? Here we're talking about the CDH audience data. CDH is basically a central data repository hub which ITC has. And they use that to their advantage, where they're able to, cross-learn and cross-use data from their different segments. So, for example, they have their shareholders' data, their employees' data, their data from ITC hotels, which is a slightly different business unit from what we're trying to do. ITC Store is all about trying to have a one-stop destination of selling all ITC brands through their DTC website and mainly focusing on grocery. And the two categories, mainly it's divided into is foods and personal care, and you can check that out on itcstore.in. So who to target, obviously very important to have specific audience segments and specific communication for each of them, so that we can also do personalized creatives at scale. Secondly, where to target, again, the focus was mainly to focus on Google and Facebook and the different campaigns and objectives that we can tap into these, like YouTube, Discovery, Google Display, Google Search, and the different objectives on Facebook. And the idea was to, again, go into a micro segmentation because we have very different categories and different brands, like I spoke about. You have something as small as a Candyman chocolate, and you also have something like an Ashirwad or an Essenza Devils, or some of the more premium brands. Coming to what to show, again, the creative and communication, one of the most important parts of the strategy. Here we were able to do a product analysis where we went into basket level to try and look at the previous 6 months data to see what baskets are being purchased more often, and what do the consumers like to buy, along with other things. So because it was a mix of foods and personal care. And then we also deep dive into brand, right? Because every brand has its own saliency, its own awareness. So we went into each brand to see what are they driving and how we can put few brands together to drive a basket. And then most importantly, website experience, doing a UI UX audit, improving the UI UX. And we redesigned a new website layout to have a good experience for the consumer and boost our conversion rates. So I'll be touching upon each of these really quickly. So talking about the first stage, the who. So here I want to talk about the CDH data, which I spoke about. So we use different audience segments like employees data, shareholders data, ITC hotels data, and we also had a data partnership with Geotap, where we were able to get e-grocery buyers and more relevant segments that we could target. Then the second step was to match these on each of the platforms, primarily Google and Facebook, and then activate certain segments. So the segmentation was again done on a micro segment base, where it was divided into cities. So every geo, every city and cohort had a different communication. And then to pass back the data of what customer has bought what, so we can remarket and be more relevant in our communication going to them going forward. So the media vehicles really quickly. So the three main pillars of how you do a media campaign, which is awareness, consideration, conversion. That's how we broke up our campaign as well. And like I said, mainly focused on Facebook and Google. So RNF and Discovery was more towards getting better brand awareness with the customer. Consideration was driving that traffic and getting more people to our website to explore our website, what is ITC store, and build their consideration to buy from the brand. And conversion was more focused on remarketing and how somebody would have visited a specific page or specific category. We showed them that ad. I would also search for specific brands or keywords and showed them that customized ad. So that was the main approach in terms of the media. So coming to the quadrant-based approach, what we did is we broke this up into quadrants to understand where a consumer would fall. So I'll just take you through it. So the 4 quadrants were low ABV, high volume, ABV being the average bill value, high ABV, high volume, low ABV, low volume, and high ABV, low volume. So as you can see, low ABV, low volume is this category we didn't want to focus on, because not only is the price of the product low, but also they were driving low volume on our website. So our ideal case scenario was to drive as many high ABV, high volume products like ITC MasterChef, which is their frozen range, Ashirwad Atta, and they also have ghee and dals, etc. And Fabel, which is a luxury chocolate brand that they have. So the idea was to maximize that, then look at the high ABV, low volume, and the other categories. And here you can see that what we did is we did a specific campaign for a Holi splash sale. And you can see in the creatives that we've tried to make it customized for each of the audience cohorts. So again, this is just a continuation to show you some of the creatives that we did. talking about the USP. So cart buster, which is basically you can add any one product for ₹1 after you've crossed 1,500 rupees in your cart. Next day delivery, free delivery, what discounts are there. So we did the audience mapping basis the creative. So for example, we are targeting female grocery buyers or shoppers basis the audience segments we got from our CDH segments. And I was talking more about monthly essentials, people who are into ordering frozen snacks. We were talking about frozen snacks and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is again just talking about some of the results that we got from the campaign. So we got a 30% higher ABV. Our cost per acquisition dropped by 2x. Yeah. Our paid revenue increased by 20x, and we had a 70% better ROI. So all the objectives that I spoke about that we went out to achieve, we pretty much achieved all of them. This is a quick overview of how the website looked, which I was talking about how we did a website layout. So these are talking about the USPs, and these are the tiles that we customized and try to make it colorful and make it more for Holi. And this we did with every passing festival as well. So this is just an overview of how it looked as the final mapping. Again, the focus was high volume, high ABV, where we had Savlon, MasterChef, Ashirvad, Fiamma, and Fabel. And these are just some of the creative samples of how we did the basket analysis and we were able to reach out to these consumers. Lastly, just want to end with content and outreach strategy. So the website and blog were a key part of this. So SEO was part of this. So it was one-time activity where we optimized the tags, but also on a recurring basis, we identified keywords and did that. Yeah, I'll just talk about the results to end. So yeah, these are the final results where we got a 20% increase in paid revenue I spoke about, 10x increase in the growth as well. And a more than 2x reduction in the CPA. So all in all, we are able to achieve all our objectives and drive a big, much more awareness for ITC store across the metro cities as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Smita, can you call out the next presenter?
Yeah, the next and the last presentation, entry ID 3617 by Waymaker, Cadbury Dairy Milk, making India generous, one thank you at a time.
Jury members, please let us know once we are good to go for the next presentation.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Great. Let me know when I can begin.
Sure.
Your screen is missing. Sorry, just 1 second. Just fixing the screen. Okay, we're ready.
Jury members, are we ready to go for the presentation?
Yes, I'm ready.
Just a moment, Nikita.
I think we can go.
Okay. You can start the presentation. Your time starts now. All the best.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I, Nikita Arora, welcome you to my presentation, where we got Indians to say thank you with a Cadbury. Cadbury Dairy Milk for over a decade has grown on the back of Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye, with the sole objective of replacing the Indian mithai with chocolates. We were now to enter in our next phase of growth, moving from being a marker of happiness to now a maker of happiness. Now, a study revealed that India ranked worse in terms of power distance. What this essentially meant is that we have a hierarchical bias where we treat services rendered, just as part of the job, discarding the efforts put across by the other person. It's so deep rooted that we don't see it despite it being all around us. We don't see it when there's a house help sitting on the floor, even in a metro, or when there's a separate elevator for the domestic staff, or when there is a nanny who's sitting separately at a restaurant. It's not that we don't want to thank them, but we don't even realize that we should thank them. We make them so invisible, despite them making our lives so much simpler. So we at Cadbury Dairy Milk set out to melt this power distance with a simple creative device. Thank you. But as we were ready to launch the campaign, we were hit by the pandemic. The nation was now forced into a lockdown, and the resultant impact on the economy led to salary cuts and job losses, and people were struggling to make ends meet. Of course, at a time like this, we had to stall all the efforts to launch the campaign. But we were now faced with 3 challenges that we never thought we had to grapple with. Number 1, being the message dilution. With the nation's PM launching a thank you campaign for the healthcare and frontline workers, most of the brands jumped onto this bandwagon, and rightfully so. But there was no way we could stand out with our campaign anymore. Second was that along with the pandemic of COVID-19, there was a parallel pandemic of mental health. There was a sense of gloom and claustrophobia that was prevalent across the country. Third is that as people were busy stocking up on vegetables and medicines and even tissue rolls, chocolates never made it to that list. Chocolates was a non-essential category. But as a brand, we stood for happiness. So we wanted to revive the optimism. We didn't just want to revive the category, which, by the way, was losing its relevance day by day, but we wanted to revive the hope of a better shared future. So as the nation thanked our frontline workers, we noticed that we still failed to see the effort put in by the working class beyond certain sectors. We've all been part of these gestures that were initiated by the government. We've also witnessed a lot of brand campaigns that crowned the healthcare staff and, as the sole heroes in fighting the pandemic. But, there were a lot more people that made our everyday lives so much simpler. These were the people that made our hardships a little lesser every day. The power distance was now more prevalent than ever. So with this insight, we wanted to ensure that our campaign cut through the thank you message. We went back to the drawing board and launched our campaign on the sole principle of valuing the undervalued. We focused on observational learning, and that is why our campaign didn't just focus on gratitude, but empathy. We partnered with 14 of the biggest brands in the country, and we got them to not just become carriers of our brand message, but participants in our campaign, where we got them to thank the heroes behind the scenes. We moved from storytelling to now story doing. We launched limited edition packs where we replaced our logo with thank you in 8 languages, cutting across the length and breadth of the country. The proceeds of these bars would then use to fund medical and health insurances for daily wage earners. Let me give you an example of the kind of stories we generated. We've all watched cricket, which is played from bio bubbles, right? But what about the people who make it happen? It was the housekeeping staff that ensured that the commentators got something as simple as water from time to time so they could give us the updates for hours at a stretch. If Lakshman didn't serve Irfan the perfect cup of tea, how would he put in the endless late hours in bringing all the buzz from the cricket world? We've all known of how many ad shoots have got cancelled during the lockdown, but it is the technicians and the entire production unit that made sure we were served content every single day. And to continue the list of these stories, I'll now take you through the AV.
There are so many people who make our life easier and hassle-free. Yet we never really acknowledge this workforce. The social asymmetry in India is palpable, and it has made the majority of the middle class feel entitled to the services they receive. Cadbury believes in the inherent generosity in people. We believe that people need nothing more than a nudge, a gentle reminder that humanity trumps everything else. We try to rekindle that human spirit with 2 words: thank you. At a time when people weren't buying chocolates for themselves, we encouraged them to buy one for someone else, someone they left unacknowledged. So, Cadbury Dairy Milk embarked on an effort to identify and thank the most underappreciated people around us. By partnering with one of the largest networks in India, we worked with 14 popular protagonists who thanked their assistants, makeup artists,
আমাকে সব সময় পারফেক্ট সাজানোর জন্য
and spot boys. As a special gesture, Z Network aired credits at the beginning of programs, a departure from the regular practice of crediting production teams at the end.
इसलिए आज कैडबरी डेयरी मिल्क और जी के साथ मिलकर हम इन सभी लोगों को इनके योगदान के लिए कहना चाहते हैं एक मीठा सा थैंक यू।
Filmfare 2021 saw Spot Boys and background crew receive the award for Best Movie of the Year.
ये अवार्ड एक्चुअली सर टीम को दिया जाए, फाइनेंस टीम है, एडीज हैं, उनके नाम ये अवार्ड। Thank you, sir.
Sportscasters thanked their own background crews who helped keep cricket alive when all other live sporting events were shut down due to the pandemic.
Thank you so much for taking care of me. हमेशा आप मेरी चाय का बहुत ध्यान रखते हैं. Thank you, sir.
Made our life very comfortable so we can concentrate on what we have to do in the commentary. So a little thank you from us. So thank you, gentlemen.
Mumbai Indians thanked the efforts of their support staff.
इस बार हम खेलेंगे, इन्हें thank you बोलने के लिए.
And pledged 2 health insurance policies for every run scored by them.
हमारे इस पार्टनरशिप में मदद करने के लिए thank you.
Amitabh Bachchan showered thanks on the stage crew and behind the screen staff of Kaun Banega Crorepati. Several additional news channels also joined the thank you movement, with newsreaders thanking cameramen. Top regional and national partners curated a thanking section where the unacknowledged were thanked. Jio, India's largest telecommunications brand, joined forces and encouraged its users to create special thank you cards. Partnering with Swiggy, Cadbury Dairy Milk reminded users to thank the delivery executives who continue to deliver food and groceries even in precarious times. Not stopping at partnerships, we harnessed the power of data and targeted digital audience segments with personalized and contextually relevant messages, reminding them to thank the unacknowledged people who help make their lives easier. We enable the carriers of our message to become the participants in our brand campaign.
Over 18 months, we tied up with 14 media partners across 40 plus media platforms and created over 200 thank you stories. Our cause was so noble that people carried our brand into green rooms, shoots, and makeup rooms where we got the most genuine smiles. This is the campaign that has reached out to more than 350 million audiences and delivered over 150 million plus engagements. This is the campaign that helped sell more than 20 million thank you bars. Proceeds of this were used to fund health insurances of more than 20,000 daily wage earners. But most importantly, this is the campaign that helped reverse the trend of sales decline during COVID and revive not just the brand, but the entire category. Thank you is all it took. And while Cadbury grew, so did the smiles and so did the empathy in people towards the lesser acknowledged. But our journey of melting the power distance has only begun, and we promise to continue to make India more generous, one thank you at a time.
Last 30 seconds.
As I thank Ad Club and Wavemaker for this opportunity, I want to thank the entire IT department across agencies and Ad Club, which has made our first virtual Emvies event possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita. And jury members, please let us know once you're done with the scoring for this category. As we have finished the category, you can take some time to complete the completely submit all the entries. Jury members, are we good to go for the next category?
Completed. I've completed.
Okay, thank you.
I'm done as well.
I'm good.
Okay, let's go for the next presentation then.
We go to the next category, best media innovation from media agencies not exceeding rupees 50 crores annual billing. The duration is of this presentation of 7 minutes. And there is only one case study presentation in this category. And the entry ID is 4601, Mediant APAC, pollution का क्या plan है?
Thank you, Smita. And Manas is the presenter. Manas, if you're ready to go, you can start the presentation, right?
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Your time starts now.
Hi. Good afternoon. This is Manas Mishra. Today I present a case study on behalf of EPAG.
Manas,
Action Group. The campaign.
the volume is not clear.
Okay.
Are you sharing it with the computer audio? Are you sharing the screen with the computer audio?
I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, I am. Can I play this now? Hi. Good afternoon. Is this okay?
No, it's very low.
Very low. Just one moment, please. Actually, the computer audio is at maximum.
Not the microphone. Microphone is fine.
Microphone is different. Yeah, exactly. The speakers and headphones are at the maximum. Hi. Is this okay?
Jury members, is it clear for you?
Sorry?
No.
No, the volume seems low even now.
Volume is low. This is a record. This is a video.
Have you shared it with the computer audio while sharing the screen? Have you opted for the computer audio to be played?
I have unmuted myself. That's what you meant?
No. While sharing the screen, you'll get an option, right? To choose the
See, if I say
Zoom.
Pause share, right?
Yes, stop the share.
New share. Share sound. Should I say that?
Yes.
Okay. Resume share.
Yes. Can you play it now once?
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon. This is Manas Mishra.
Yes, this is better. So you can start your presentation from the beginning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's nothing else coming in the way, right? Because I'm seeing some stuff here.
No, nothing is coming. So you can start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Good afternoon. This is Manas Mishra. Today I present a case study on behalf of EPAG, the Air Pollution Action Group. The campaign, Pollution का क्या plan है? A rhetorical question to Indians, one and all, on the topic of air pollution. Our problem is we seem to be lacking serious political will to fight air pollution. Air pollution is a through the year problem across most of the cities in north and west and east of India, and it gets acute in the winter months of October to March. Sadly, it's a man-made problem that can be tackled with a political will to legislate and monitor compliance. Despite it being a decades-old problem, the key political parties, namely Aam Aadmi Party, BJP and Congress, have shown no action plan against air pollution. And this was evident in the Lok Sabha 2019 manifesto of all these parties. APAG needed to do something to catalyze action. Political parties go by numbers, and public support to a cause builds a political platform. APAG needed a public protest at a big scale to shake up the political inertia around air pollution. We designed a protest at scale through media. APAG produced 8 films that gave facts about air pollution and the need to raise our voice against air pollution. We advised to target eco-conscious urban Indians from the affected geographies through digital video instead of television. Our armchair activists could not be expected to take out a morcha or start a signature campaign. We gave them a missed call number to register their protest simply and easily. The campaign KPI changed from awareness to action, and all we had to do is to maximize missed calls. We share here 3 of the 8 edits from the digital video campaign with a missed call number at the end of each film.
वोट डालने के लिए तैयार हैं? पहले जरा चाइना चलते हैं। 2013 में चाइना ने वॉर ऑन पोल्यूशन डिक्लेयर किया। उस साल चाइना के 16 शहर दुनिया के 20 सबसे प्रदूषित शहरों में थे। आज सिर्फ 4 शहर उस लिस्ट में हैं। और आज चाइना में एयर पोल्यूशन 30% घट गया है। यानी हमारी लोकसभा की एक टर्म 5 साल में चाइना ने एयर पोल्यूशन पे जबरदस्त वार किया है। हमारी सरकार को भी यही करना चाहिए ना? इसलिए वोट डालने से पहले पूछें, पोल्यूशन का क्या प्लान है? पॉलिटिशियंस को एयर पोल्यूशन गंभीरता से लेने को कहें। इस नंबर पे मिस्ड कॉल करें। जी हाँ, इंडिया में 2015 में 10 लाख से भी ज्यादा लोग एयर पोल्यूशन से मारे गए। दुनिया की 18% आबादी इंडिया में, पर एयर पोल्यूशन के कारण हुई प्रीमेच्योर डेथ्स में इंडिया का हिस्सा 26%। WHO के अनुसार प्रदूषित हवा में सांस लेना उतना ही हानिकारक है जितना सिगरेट पीना। 22 AQI यानी 1 सिगरेट। तो पिछले साल दिल्ली में रह के आप रोज 6 से 7 सिगरेट फूंक गए। लगभग हर शहर में सांस लेना सिगरेट पीना जैसा हो गया है। पॉलिटिशियंस को एयर पोल्यूशन गंभीरता से लेने को कहें। इस नंबर पे मिस्ड कॉल करें।
A simple and memorable missed call number did the trick for us. We delivered a protest at scale within 4 weeks. 29,000 Indians gave us a missed call to register their protest. This helped us as the political parties sat up to take note. Must mention here, 29,000 missed calls were in April, May, summer months. Their response would have been manifold for a winter campaign. We also delivered 6 million views at a competitive CPB of 0.6. APAG attached the call logs to a formal letter they wrote to each of the 3 political parties. Today, APAG has a voice that's heard. They are a member of the board at the newly constituted CAQM, Government of India, and we believe this campaign definitely helped. Thank you.
Thank you, Manas. Are you done with the presentation?
Yeah, done with the presentation.
Okay. Jury members, please code the entry and let us know when you're ready to go for the next presentation. Smita, can you call out the next presenter?
Sure. Moving on to the next category, Young Emvee of the Year, and the duration will be 7 minutes per presentation. And the first presenter is entry ID 4713, Waymaker, Cadbury Dairy Milk Chocolate, Celebration and Silk, Rupesh Shah, Winning the Pond. Rupesh?
Yes, he's here.
Am I audible?
Yes. Please hold on for 1 or 2 minutes, Rupesh. Let's
Sure.
wait for the jury confirmation.
I am done.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Shared screen?
Yes.
Okay, done.
Jury members, are we good to go?
Yep.
Yes, we can go.
Okay, thank you. Rupesh, you can start the presentation. All the best. Your time starts now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rupesh Shah from Waymaker. Meet my role icon, Amrendra Bahubali, a great king. His greatness was known because he helped people, not only by his command, but also by his actions. Like other great king, he too was doing good for his people. Similarly, in my career too, I got an opportunity to pay back to the society by working on the brands whose mission is to bring joy and sweetness in others' life. Let me take you through the same. My first work that came across as thank you with Cadbury Dairy Milk. A lighthouse project with Google revealed that Indians are not thankless, but they thankless. And this is mainly due to the hierarchical biasness. As part of Kuch Acha Ho Jai, Kuch Meeta Ho Jai, CDM set out to melt the implicit power distance by encouraging Indians to say thank you along with the CDM bar. Let me show you how we made millions of Indians say thank you with Cadbury Dairy Milk.
Cadbury believes in the inherent generosity in people, often needing nothing more than a nudge, a gentle reminder that humanity trumps everything else. We tried to kindle that spirit with 2 words: thank you. We replaced the iconic Cadbury Dairy Milk branding with a thank you in not 1 but 8 languages.
দিদি এটা তোমার জন্য থ্যাংক ইউ
हम सबकी कामयाबी के पीछे बहुत लोगों का हाथ है
और इन लोगों को कोई नहीं पहचानता।
तो इस बार हम खेलेंगे इन्हें थैंक यू बोलने के लिए
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. Anything we want, it's here in 2 seconds and made our life very comfortable so we can concentrate on what we have to do in the commentary. So a little thank you from us. So thank you, gentlemen, and something for your team as well.
मैं इस मंच का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूँगा और अपने केबीसी के सभी सहयोगियों को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा जिन्होंने इस संकट के काल में भी हमारे इस कार्यक्रम को संभव बनाया।
We managed to inspire generosity despite adversity and championed the brand's purpose in a test like never before. In a tough year, generosity moved people, the brand, the business, and the category.
As an individual, my role was to identify the right business partner who helped us in scaling the campaign and stand true to the value. 14 such media partners and 40 platforms were associated to not only convey but to participate in the thank you journey. Secondly, I was able to go ahead from storytelling to story doing and bringing in the experiences along with the brand. Another opportunity came to me during pandemic and really made me feel like the Bahubali for several shop owners. Tough times had rolled out in the form of coronavirus in 2020. Countries were imposing lockdown. Due to lockdown, several brands got hit, but gradually the big brands were making back on track with their large marketing budgets, while the small neighborhood stores had limited or no footfall. And that is where Cadbury decided by helping them, by using the power of technology and created an ad that was not just a Cadbury ad.
India is home to more than 6 crore small businesses, and they've been fighting for survival after the coronavirus outbreak and the lockdowns.
Presenting not just a Cadbury ad. We advertised not just for ourselves, but for thousands of small businesses across India. The idea was innovative, but the technology and execution was challenging. Most of the stores in India don't have a digital presence. So we had to manually feed our system to create a database of local retailers, mapping them to their location, which we identified through PIN codes. As the ad was served to an individual, an algorithm located the PIN code and then mapped the various local stores in that PIN code and served the one closest to the individual in real time. The AI-enabled system created thousands of permutations for the localized version of the same ad, so many that it is even impossible to track. This resulted in the first ever hyper-personalized ad ever, one that ensured every single person that saw the ad supported a local store. When all of us support our local stores, all of us can have a happy Diwali, not just a Cadbury ad.
The most important part was identifying the right business partner who can help us in creating the right AI. If we would have failed, then instead of disruption, we would have disturbed the campaign. Post identification, working cohesively with tech team to ensure that the local shop names are mapped with the right pin codes. Both the campaigns both the campaigns really helped the brand, and the impact on business was 20% growth in overall sales, added 16,000 new stores of retail trade. Additional stock of 38 crore was picked up by the end of the year. Brand distribution grew up by 14%. Brand parameters like brand that is generous grew by 8%. Brand that brings people together grew up by 14%. On media, it generated PR worth around 25 crore and had 7 times the engagement rate versus the social parameters.
Last 1 minute.
While on social parameters, 20,000 health insurances were given to the domestic workers and 15,000 retailers signed up for the ad, and that was shared across WhatsApp. Thus, thereafter, I became the marketing Bahubali Ikigai. Lastly, I could save some time for you and share something from my work. Thank you for judging our work, and thank you for giving us the explicit time that you have given. Thank you.
Well, that was Rupesh from Wavemaker. And the next case study, which you all must have studied and gone through, submitted by Jiten Shirke, that is Cadbury 5-star and Cadbury Fuse from Wavemaker, that has been withdrawn. So we move over to, I would request Tia Bhatt to present Netflix, and she's from Wavemaker as well.
Jury members, are we good to go for the presentation?
Yeah, good for me.
Yeah, good for me.
Okay, moving on to the next third presentation. Entry ID 4723, Wavemaker Netflix. How I played Matchmaker for Netflix. Now streaming by Tia Bhatt.
Hi judges, is my screen audible?
Yes.
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
I can't see my Hi. Is my screen audible? Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Hi, judges. I'm Kia Bhatt from Wavemaker, and today I will take you through my matchmaking journey on Netflix. But before I begin, let me introduce you to Mumbai's top matchmaker.
Hi, darling. I'm Seema Taparia. I'm Mumbai's top matchmaker. She's short. She's very nice, but she's short. This will not match. He's also tall, slim, trim. You're also slim, trim, tall. I think it'll be a good match.
I definitely don't think that Seema understands what I want.
Do you think Seema Aunty understood her clients' needs? I don't think so. Today, I will talk about how I understood my clients' needs and played the role of the perfect matchmaker for Netflix. Finding the right match for your client. Seema Aunty matched couples basis height, weight, and skin color, but I matched audiences to Netflix content basis real-time consumer data. When her matches failed, she passed the blame and said, "Ultimately, my efforts are meaningless if the stars are not aligned." I didn't wait for the stars to align, but aligned real-time consumer moods to serve tailor-made content recommendations. Netflix was low on consideration due to the perception that Netflix has edgy, gritty content that is not for me. We had to change this perception. Abhi mood nahi hai is usually used to dictate all kinds of choices. When it comes to entertainment, people are simultaneously fans of romance, comedy, drama, and action. It is their mood that helps them choose. So I created a content matchmaker that considered the current mood and matched it to titles from Netflix's vast content library. I partnered with 3 key digital platforms, Twitter, Spotify, and Swiggy, where consumers were showcasing their current mood. This campaign has been highly awarded in regional and international forums. Let me show you how I did it.
Netflix decided to tap into mood to recommend content. With millions of Indians stuck at home during the pandemic lockdown, and with no new content being produced, Netflix realized it was a great opportunity to showcase their vast library. So, we found the places where they revealed how they were feeling, from what they wanted to eat to what they chose to listen to. From there, we could connect their mood to the perfect piece of content. Enter Netflix Matchmaker. Through food delivery app Swiggy, Netflix matched shows with cuisines and served them as a perfect Saturday night in. While people decided what food to order, they were able to scroll a Netflix multiplex. Fancy a butter chicken? You need Ginny Wed Sunny with that, sir. Nowhere is mood more obvious than through music choice. So, through an API integration with Spotify, Netflix personalized recommendations based on listening habits. People were able to explore the vast content library to discover what matched their music mood. On Twitter, we asked people to send us their mood, and we'd tell them what to watch. We mapped over 862 emojis to titles in the Netflix library. So when people tweeted an emoji, Netflix connected them to their perfect show. People loved the matchmaker experience. And Netflix saw an increase in app downloads of 7%. Monthly active users were 3 times the norm, and Netflix keyword searches doubled.
And that is how I found the perfect matches for Netflix. Setting up the perfect date for your client. Seema Aunty sent people on disastrous dates and not a single match happened on the show. I successfully sent 8 lakh people on the perfect date with Netflix. Post the lockdown, we had to drive consideration for Netflix. Indians are value conscious and like to try before buying. So, for the first time ever and only in India, we gave Netflix for free for 2 days. There were 3 legs to this campaign. Phase 1, we had to build curiosity around the offer. Phase 2, because this offer was so unbelievable, we had to establish credibility. And phase 3, we had to get people to sample Netflix and drive trials. Let me show you what I did.
Netflix content has always been a part of the cultural zeitgeist, creating FOMO amongst non-subscribers. To tap into this audience, Netflix decided to offer 2 days completely for free, only in India. Our message was, Netflix hai free, bhul jao naukri. Something Kapil Sharma took to heart by skipping out on his show to binge on Netflix backstage.
मैं आपको वहाँ ढूंढ रहा हूँ और आप यहाँ पे मतलब बिजी हो फोन में मतलब भाई सॉरी नवाज भाई आप लोग लगे रहो मैं चलता
This was further reinforced when prominent commentators went missing during a critical match between India and Australia on extra innings. We established credibility by partnering with celebrities like Anil Kapoor and Nawazuddin Siddiqui.
Breathe.
आपके हस्बैंड बिजी थे
बिजी तो रहेंगे क्योंकि Netflix is free.
On digital platforms, we created contextual communication. We reached out to music buffs on Spotify and Ghana. Truecaller's after-call screen gave users the best reason to block unwanted calls. On InShots, users were advised to keep it short because guess what? Netflix is free. News websites for the first time delivered a piece of news that caused no controversy. We sent 8 lakh people on a perfect date with Netflix.
And that is how I sent 8 lakh people on the perfect date with Netflix. Chapter 3, Sealing the Deal for Your Client. When Seema auntie hit a roadblock, she made excuses and blamed the client, whereas I looked for a solution. When Gunjan Saxena was facing nepotism-related backlash, I partnered with 560 Twitter influencers and converted negative conversations into positive conversations, making Gunjan Saxena one of Netflix's most watched movies in 2020.
Owing to growing conversations around nepotism, #boycott Gunjan Saxena had started trending, and the trailer received 98% negative comments. We had to turn the negative into the positive, and so we decided to launch a meme marketing campaign on Twitter in collaboration with 560 influencers. We highlighted nationalism to drown out nepotism by showing the story of the real Gunjan Saxena. I think when some auntie said, "Time to be a bride," Gunjan Saxena heard, "It's time to be a national pride." We seeded over 400 memes. All this successfully resulted in turning around the backlash and reducing the negative chatter from 98% to 46% in a span of 23 days.
And that is how I matched the perfect audiences to Netflix. Thank you.
Smita, can you please call out the next presenter?
Sure. Next presentation, entry ID 4729 by Waymaker, Cadbury Dairy Milk, Cadbury Puff, Cadbury Foods, Puneet Jethwani, from media planning to data planning.
Jury members, please let us know when you're done with scoring so that we can go for the next presentation. Are we good to go for the next presentation, jury members?
Yeah, good to go.
Yeah, good to go.
Thank you. Puneet, you can start the presentation. Your time starts now.
Yeah. One second.
Just give us a minute.
Apologies for the delay.
No problem.
So, hi, good evening, everyone. Since I joined the media industry, I've struggled to explain my job to my parents and all my friends, who often confuse media with some news channels like this. One second. So when I say advertising, they confuse it with some ad shoots like this. Over years of building awareness for my profile, I finally managed to explain my parents what their son does for a living. But the confusion started all over again when this happened. You can only imagine what must be going through their minds when they hear their son, who has spent the last 2 years planning media for Cadbury chocolates, telling them that his day job is now dedicated towards building a cookieless world. But to a trained eye, a cookieless world means something completely different. In a view to increase data privacy, Google announced they would be doing away with cookies in 2022. This came as a shocker to the entire industry and was unprepared. In response, marketers had started building first-party data to get a clearer view of their consumers. Hi, I am Puneet Jetwani, and I am a data planner. As my client Mondelez India embarked on the journey of collecting FPD, I became a part of something bigger. Rather than planning for reach, frequency, and impressions, my role expanded to help my client using paid media to gather first-party data. But as conversations around data privacy became mainstream, users were increasingly unwilling to share their personal data with advertisers. In such a scenario, we need to create a right value exchange to entice the users to share their personal information with us. Over the last 18 months, I've been planning and executing campaigns that collected FPD by creating unique experience. My work in the area of journey optimization have helped Mondelez scale up its efforts and collect data more efficiently. Campaigns I have worked on have reaped more than 2 million FPD records. Let me show you how I did this with an example of 3 of my own case studies. Let's start with Madbury. Madbury campaign was launched which invited millions of Indians to make their own version of Cadbury. Through this campaign, we received over 1 million entries, which is above industry standards. How we achieved this? Let's have a look.
We asked the world, kahan se aayegi hamari ugly Cadbury? With over 100 flavors including 30 Indian ingredients to mix and match for their inventions. We personalized the campaign to capture the right consumer at the right moment with the right thought on the right platforms. We married the consumer data signals relevant to the campaign to direct them to the platforms where they could participate. We created over 30 creatives on Facebook and YouTube, which were localized based on the city and language spoken in the region. We also rode on the daily topicality of Indian Premier League and pitted the 2 playing cities against each other. Kunal Kapoor, India's renowned chef, came on board as the official judge of Madbury 2020 and acknowledged and interacted with the Madbury 2019 winners. Presence on MasterChef Australia on Disney Plus Hotstar ensured we created awareness among high-affinity cohorts. We encouraged the participants from the Madbury 2019 contest and dropouts from this edition to come back and try their luck again. Consumers were so excited that they began sharing their inventions on social media, driving organic traffic beyond industry's benchmarks. All of these elements were directed to the key platform of Madbury website and MyGeo app.
So going on with case 2, Perk missing posters. 2020 lockdown resulted in a lot of friends losing touch with each other. Cadbury Perk, in its own quirky manner, created more than 34,000 missing friends posters to bring friends closer. Let's have a look at it.
2020 was a bad year for friendships. No hangouts, no parties, no fun. So Cadbury Perk, every Gen Z's beloved partner in crime, decided to bring friends closer. Cadbury Perk presents Missing Posters. We gave Gen Z a chance to call out friends who weren't in touch in a cheeky, playful manner by creating a simple microsite that lets one make and share missing posters of their lazy friends on their walls.
मेरा एक दोस्त था, या शायद अभी भी है. वैसे उस दोस्त का नाम मनीष पॉल है. काम करो, मेरे कैप्शन में ना एक लिंक है, उसे क्लिक करो और इन सब दोस्तों के ना हम मिसिंग पोस्टर्स बनाएंगे और सिखाएंगे इन्हें एक लेसन.
We began the campaign by tapping onto everything our TG likes: social media, cricket. Partnered regional Gen Z influencers, a first for Mondelez India, created a Friendship Day movie playlist that made friends miss each other. Also partnered with meme creators, a Gen Z favorite. We reunited friends with a surprise call from 2 celebrity influencers.
इसने तो उल्टा काम कर दिया. इसने लॉकडाउन में दोस्त को ब्लॉक डाउन कर दिया.
That's how Friendship Day ended, with some having a laugh some learning a lesson, and everyone having fun with Perk. Perk, missing posters.
Last but definitely not the least, with Fusees. For Cadbury Fuse, we launched a roadies type contest where over 5 lakh consumers fought with popular influencers and celebrities to get a free bar of Fuse. Let me show you how.
Based on the insight that people often fall for clickbait because they are tempted by free things, we capitalized on this human behavior by offering free Cadbury Fuse.
Last 1 minute.
Nothing comes easy. The website visitors were surprised with a twist. Some found themselves sitting face to face with Pankaj Tripathi, and they had to convince him to give up his Cadbury Fuse. Some danced for it.
सुनो बाबू ले लो बाबू फ्यूज ले लो तुम
Selfie, एक selfie तो बनता है. And the visitors from South region encountered Ayyo Shraddha.
Please buy your fuse for your biggest fan, no ma'am. Please.
Biggest fan, huh? Hey, I will write you one sweet thank you note. Eat that.
The journey was executed by identifying relevant cohorts for the Cadbury Fuse target audience. We targeted them on various platforms during different time bands. During this whole journey, they were entrapped by the celebrities, making this a fun and memorable experience. The campaign was a huge success. More than 500,000 people visited the microsite. 60% of them interacted and clicked selfies with the celebrities with an average time spent of 30 seconds on the microsite. More than 37,000 free Cadbury Fuse were redeemed.
So your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Puneet.
Thank you.
Smita, can you call out the next presenter?
Sure. The next and the last presentation, entry ID 4733, MyShare, Hindustan Unilever Limited, Get on the Front Line by Avni Kanakia.
Thank you. And jury members, please let us know when you're ready to go for the next presentation.
Let me know when you guys want to start.
Sure.
Just one clarification. What was the name of the last presenter?
It's you need the name of the presenter or entry title of the presentation?
Puneet Jetwani, right?
Yes, Puneet Jetwani.
Okay, thank you.
And now for the last presentation. Avni, right?
Yes.
Avni Kanakia.
Yes.
Avni Kanakia.
Jury members, are we good to go?
Yes, good for me.
Okay. All right. You can start the presentation, Avni, and your time starts now. All the best.
Okay. Game show. Hi, this is Avni Kanakia. It's obvious now that I come from a Gujju family. Families which are infamous for being loud and out there. And this is my 64-year-old father, just as loud. My career path took me from human psychology to media, where I handled more than 25 Unilever brands, an industry that he cannot fathom at all. But just like every dad, that doesn't stop him from giving me life advices. One of the most repeated things that he tells me whenever I'm headed out for, say, a conference or an award show or an important meeting where there are more than 100 to 200 people, he'll tell me, Beta, tare khali haath uppar karine ka ek bolwano chal. It means that, Beta, you just have to raise your hand and speak something. I'll usually tell him that this is not how it works, Dad. To which he says, if you don't do that, how is it that people are going to notice you? So, kafi time tak, I ignored this. Until now, when I decided to be in sync with Unilever's philosophy of get on the front line, and I realized my dad's advice was completely in sync with this successful marketing framework. Here's how. The framework first says, get real. Find a real problem, just like he did when he realized I'm going to go unnoticed between hundreds of people. Second, it says, bring a change, break a stereotype, help. Again, exactly what he did by encouraging me to speak up. Third, it says, be unmissable, break through with media, be loud, be effortlessly seen. Exactly what he meant when he said, raise your hand and say something. Ever since, inspired by my dad and Unilever, I have built all my campaigns on these three pillars. Starting with the first case. A couple of months back, I spoke to my dad and I asked him, when was the last time you cried? He said he doesn't remember, which got me thinking that mard ko dard nahi hota is a casual phrase often thrown at young men, compelling them to force fit themselves into the society's definition of masculinity. A six-pack body, a stable desk job, a man who doesn't cry. So we decided to bring a change and break these shackles of toxic masculinity. I understood that the role of media here had to influence every young boy in India. So I leveraged my love for pop culture to our advantage and suggested a rap leading to the launch of Ab Teri Bari. And this is how it went.
We can't hear the sound. Abni, we cannot hear the volume. Can you stop sharing the screen and share it once again with the computer sound?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Have you paused my time?
I think
yes. Don't worry.
Okay.
You can ask her to restart if she wants, or you pause her time now.
Yes, I have already paused the very next moment.
Okay.
So we launched a rap song, Ab Teri Bari. The song featured and was sung by Ayushmann Khurrana and Nazy, the two men that defied the rules of cinema and music. All the men starring in the video were a unique fit to the brand because they showed their truly masculine side. From Sunil Chetri's emotional personality to Shashank's non-conforming physical appearance to B Unique's unusual choice of career. The music video first launched on YouTube and garnered more than 100 million views across channels. The song performed far better than any other act's creative. Celebrities across industries shared the music video with their personal stereotypes. The song organically went viral on TikTok and WhatsApp. The entire country spoke in support of the campaign. The nation finally accepted what it is to be the Asli Mard.
In the vision to enable young boys to make their own rules, I played a pivot role in onboarding and the influence and power of the 6 most followed men in India and become unmissable. The second case is for Surf Excel, a brand that believes Daag Achhe Hai. But in 2021, the biggest festivals of colors or Daag had gone dull. So we identified a simple way to make celebrations possible. Here's how.
Presenting Rang Achhe Hai. To keep the festive spirit alive, we created a box of happiness that could cover the distance that hands couldn't. The lockdown resulted in an increase in home deliveries. Dunzo, a hyperlocal delivery app, became our means to bridge the distance between loved ones with every delivery. Right before the start of the festivities, we nudged millions of users with in-app happiness notifications and amplified the communications through placements of contextual brand ads across the user journey. Users could celebrate Holi at a distance through a simple opt-in along with their other orders. Dunzo ensured safe delivery in no time. To further amplify the campaign, we leveraged real-life influencer relationships. Every influencer sent a box of happiness to their dear ones who were at a distance. Thousands of boxes were wiped off effortlessly and earned PR over $1.1 million.
In times when the consumer was restricted, my contribution was to identify and create an unmissable media partnership with Dunzo and 40 plus creators to make celebrations possible. For the third case, is for Blue Air. Delhi became the second most polluted city in the world, and my air purifier brand Blue Air wanted to build awareness. And this is how we did it.
Avni designed a real-time pollution alert system, a trigger-based model that tracks premium audiences and picks up indoor location data. This interacts with a live AQI feed and delivers personalized alerts on their mobile devices. At first, she identified a premium cohort, and later she targeted these audiences indoors based on Wi-Fi usage. Further, through live GPS signals, exact localities were pinned down, setting up a pathway for the LAT and long signals from users' smartphones to collide with the real-time API feed of air quality index data. A live AQI prompted users of different levels of air pollution in their locality.
Last 1 minute.
At the same time during the day, a person in Ghaziabad received a unique real-time AQI update as compared to someone in Noida. These alerts were served across more than 100,000 top mobile apps, further leading them to e-com. Having delivered 6.4 million impressions, her campaign received 4 times higher engagement than regular ad units. With these real-time alerts, the brand saw a whopping 5 times higher return on ad spend.
We identified a simple problem and became unmissable by a pristine targeting that showed live AQI to take an action. So my dad and the Get on the Frontline framework helped my work win across platforms. And not just my work, it helped me win across platforms. Last night, I was really excited to show this presentation to my dad. And when I did, he really had just one thing to say. Emvee to papa nahi. Okay. That's it.
Your time's up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was the concluding case study for the day. So we are done with the jury session. My submission to the jury members is, there are very many jury members on board now today who are coming for the first time, and there are some who have been judging for quite a long time. So this is a totally new format, and the new format is because of actually COVID. They are doing it online. Had it been normal circumstances, we would have done it in person. But my submission is, how was your experience as compared to the one that you have judged online, in person, and now online? What is your take on this process? And how do you compare? What was your comfort level? How did you find that the sessions go, and it was how well did you find it was organized? What do you feel?
So I'll take it first, Vipin.
Okay.
Am I audible, guys? So I found it pretty smooth, considering that, so many years I have attended the physical session. And when we started this session, I was slightly apprehensive, Vipin, because I was wondering if the pause between the presentation and the scoring, because usually that's where, the timing and stuff has to be really cleverly handled, and the transition in terms of the transfer to the next presenter has to happen glitch free.
Whatever order, Daljit first, then Shoma.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, thanks, Daljit. So on the branch upgrades, we've done 35 locations.
I think somebody's cell phone is on, or can you please mute when Shubha is talking? Yeah. Yeah, Shubha, please continue.
Okay. So the thing is, I was pleasantly surprised, and I found it pretty seamless. And except for one or two instances where, the participants and their volume, etc., whatever little roadblocks we hit, but I think it was pretty flawless and awesomely managed, Vipin. For me, I can say that it's a great experience as a jury and as a participant, and I did not find any issue in terms of transiting between screens, listening, scoring. So great stuff. Thanks. It was a great experience for me.
Thank you, Shubha. Coming from an experienced judge like you, we value what you have said. A big thanks to you. Thank you.
My pleasure, totally, Vipin.
Yeah. Anyone?
Vipin, I can go next. Well, we would fully agree with what was said. I think very seamless in its approach. The software was good. The conducting of the session was good. But I think, there is always a personal touch when you get to meet in person and so on. So I think, we've all got used to this online way of judging and doing things, and therefore it's fine, but was very seamless, very well managed, very well orchestrated. I mean, small little glitches were there, but they were hardly much. But I think a personal session is always good to kind of, connect with people and go beyond just a session where we are all behind a computer and looking at each other and scoring. But very well managed. Thank you.
So Chandan, next year, of course, in person, we are all very optimistic, incurable optimists. We all are. And I think next year it should be in person.
Right. Looking forward. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else?
Bipin, I can go next. Again, this is my first year, so thanks for inviting me over for this. Again, I mean, I echo what Chandan said as well. Just that I had a hangover from Emvies, so I actually had judged all the entries beforehand, even before the presentations happened. I think my only suggestion or request will be, the thing that I think I missed today was a discussion with my co-jury members specifically on entries, because I think the qualities of the entries were phenomenal, right? And obviously because they've been filtered at one level, right? Which means, at least in my rating, the most of them, at least 80% of them were rated, in my mind, much higher. In such situations, a discussion or a debate always helps in getting different perspectives about every entry. That's the only, sort of additional thing I'd like to add.
Okay. And anyone else would like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'm happy to
Right.
speak. This is the first time I've done the Emvies.
Okay.
I echo Chandan as well as Akash in terms of, I think if it was extremely efficiently and smoothly managed. The little delays on the part of participants is to be expected. So I think it was excellently managed, but I too, especially at this level where we are judging finalists, I really missed the discussion, which I think is very, very critical. But given the circumstances, I think it went very well. And I definitely look forward to an in-person world as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Ren. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. So thank you, jury members. Thank you for your time. It was absolutely fabulous. We are done with 6 sessions of judging, and 3 days are over of judging sessions. There are around 6 more days to go. Because we had shortlisted around 270 to 80 entries, and we don't give the judges more than 15 to 16 entries. I mean, good old days, Shubha, you have judged 40 also. So we don't want to burden the jury members by more than 15 to 16 case studies max. And I think that works out pretty well. This format is working out pretty well. So next time, yes, we will be having an in-person session. Those 2 podiums on each side, one agency on the other side, and the same thing. And then you have a dialogue with each other during the lunchtime. There is some networking happening. That even I miss, with my personal connect with the jury members and all. But anyway, we were also as apprehensive as what you were, how this particular online sessions will go, because this is the first time we are doing it. But I think it is a fabulous thing, and I do say that my technical team of Shraval, Nitin, they have done a fabulous job. My team of Matthew, Smita, Gopal, Suresh, they all have